I'm in grade 9, and my high school principal calls me into her office. My grandmother gives me a list of 100 jokes about being Filipina. I bring the jokes to school to share it with my other Filipina friends. There are 4 of us in my grade, and I forget the list in the lunchroom. My principal finds the list, and so I come to her office, and I've never been to the principal's office before. I'm terrified. It's pretty intimidating. I don't know what to expect. With a very stern look on her face, she gestures for me to sit on this hard wooden bench across from her desk. I sit, and the bench is so hard that my butt goes numb. It's painful to sit. She holds up the list of jokes and says, "This is a pretty serious offense. These jokes are racist." Now, it's important to say that my high school principal was not Filipina, but I am. And these jokes, they were written for Filipinos by Filipinos, and they were so G-rated that my grandmother gave them to me. Why? Because humor is how my family has survived generations of colonial rule, where schools were used to suppress Filipino knowledge, language, and traditions. In that moment, I wanted to say, but I'm Filipina. My grandmother gave me those jokes. I'm proud of those jokes. And I just wanted to share them with my other Filipina friends who may feel a bit out of place in this predominantly white school in North Toronto. But, of course, I didn't say that. She wasn't interested or curious, and I didn't want to make a bad situation even worse. So I very sheepishly said, but my grandmother gave me those jokes. And then I silenced the rest, the frustration, the anger, and the rage. She went on to threaten me. She said, "You could be suspended for this." Suspended? The rest was kind of a blur. I didn't speak up for myself. I didn't say this is all a big misunderstanding. I just remained silent. She spoke to my father shortly after, and instead of suspending me, he said, "Let her work in the office with you." And so I do. I work in the office, and she begins to take an interest in me. Maybe even begins to see a bit of herself in me. And when my family could no longer afford to send me to that school, she found a way to keep me there. Because you see, I was her charity case. The thing is, I've never seen myself as a charity case. When my father cans, he picks me up from school in this second-hand car. He bought a real lemon. It had holes in the roof and pizza boxes on the floor to absorb the falling rain. And from time to time, we drive some of my friends home from school to Rosedale, which is one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in the country. And as my friends exit the car, my father turns to me and says, "Aren't you embarrassed by this car?" And without skipping a beat, I say, "Embarrassed? Why would I be embarrassed? There's nothing to be embarrassed about." Not long after that, I grow in confidence. My parents watch in amazement as I, with ease, speak truth to power, challenge authority, metabolize the experience, and very importantly, offer up an alternative that has the power to transform people's lives. It's a kind of power they have never seen before. It's the stuff of legends. In my 30s, I go on to co-found a museum without walls dedicated to stories of migration. Guided by my vision and under my leadership, I secure support from all 3 levels of government, multiple ministries, and over 40 institutional partners who work together to build community and support for the telling of these stories. The museum begins to win awards, but as a leader of this initiative, I become increasingly isolated. It takes a toll on my personal health and well-being and on my family's well-being. In many ways, it re-traumatizes me. I become a target for people who see the museum's success, its progress, as a threat. I receive hate mail. People show up to events just to intimidate me with their arms crossed, challenging everything I say. I'm invited to events where my presence is clearly not welcome. I just feel like I'm there to check a box. And they literally sit me in the margins of rooms with my back up against the wall just to remind me of my place. I've taken the pain of being silenced, of being misunderstood and underestimated, and I've created opportunities for other people to be heard, to be seen, to be celebrated and acknowledged. And I would like to think that that teenage girl in my high school principal's office would be proud of everything that I've done. Is this a story about revenge? Not entirely. But it has helped me to let go of this need to prove myself. To be honest with all of you, I wasn't sure how I was going to end this story in the weeks leading up to this. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And I really struggled. And then I called on my grandmother, who died in 2022, for help. And then she came in a dream just a couple days ago. She reminded me of her favorite novel, Wuthering Heights, a tragic love story about a man who's unable to let go of his grievances, his obsessions. It reminds the reader that in order to find peace, in order to move on, we have to let go of the things that are holding us back. I hope that by sharing this story with all of you tonight, that I can finally let go of the things that have been holding me back, so that I can find more space and room for love, for grace, and for forgiveness, this time not only for others, but also for myself. And I hope that my sense of humor will help me to get there. My name is Gracia. Thank you very much.